What life would be like if we had a vocal director at all times? At the job?
Hi, thank you for calling the help desk. How can I help you?
Not sure we're showing the proper emotion here. What do you think?
Yeah, totally needs more.
Okay, let's try it again. And remember, we want to help.
Hi. Thank you for calling the help desk. How may I help you?
Perfect.
Got it.
On the road.
Man, F you, buddy. Let me share your road.
No. Come on, you need to give me more here. This guy just totally disrespected you on the road, and you're not just gonna let that go. Nah, let's try that again. Louder.
Man, F you, buddy. Let me share your road.
Cut! No. I don't think you're getting to that primal anger that you can have. Let's try it again. This time, think about you having had a really hard day, and you're looking forward to getting home, and now this guy has slowed you down.
Ooh, good one.
Man, F you, buddy. Let me share your road.
No.
Too far. Let's not go with the brooding superhero feeling. Regular person, please.
Oh, shoot, sorry.
It's okay. It was a interesting direction.
Yeah, right.
Let's try it again. 2 in a row.
Man, F you, buddy. Let me share your road. Man, F you, buddy. Let me share your road.
Got it.
Yes. At home.
What do you want for dinner, dear?
I don't know.
No,
Anything,
I'm not
really.
sure I'm comfortable with that one. Let's try it again.
Ready?
What do you want for dinner, dear?
You just asked me that, hon.
Still not getting the feeling here. Try to get into your character. You just got home, you fought traffic to get here, and you're starving. Let's give it one more go.
And recording.
What do you want for dinner, dear?
I already told you whatever. Why do you keep asking me?
Ugh. No, it's just not coming through.
All the levels seem fine.
No, it's not the equipment.
Let me try that again.
Oh, are you on the phone or something?
Okay. This time, feel the hunger. Make me believe.
What do you want for dinner, dear?
Oh, there we go.
Ugh, forget it. Nothing.
We got it.
Wait. Where'd she go? Oh, well, time for the podcast anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. That always comes in a lot louder after the second.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks for being here. For those of you that are here live, we're recording this on twitch.tv/Zamoody every Sunday live at noon. This will be available on YouTube 24 hours later and anywhere where you can find your podcasts. So thanks all. I want to thank Renara and Grimm for the last minute coming in. There was a bit of an issue, unfortunately, with the people that I'd initially requested to do the voices for the director and the engineer, and they bailed me out. And thank you so much, because otherwise, that would have been an interesting one.
You're very welcome.
My-
I'm impressed. I'm impressed we did that in 20 minutes, to be quite frank.
So in true our ex-host Pashley format, I did this in like 15 minutes to spare. So we were putting this together. I also want to thank Crystal Martinez for providing the deer was the name, which is the wife. Yeah.
I was wondering who that would be.
Yes. I reached out and she was totally open. I appreciate Crystal Martinez has been a person that we had before on the show. Let me take the muted sign off apparently because I forgot right before we started.
Oh.
I know, right? Professional streamer over here.
It's going well, guys. It's going well.
So, as you can tell, we have our guest Neil from Crownstag Voice Over. Neil, thank you so much for being here. We'll get to you in just a minute. Thank you, Magmorta, for confirming. But we're gonna check in what would normally be on the other side of the world, but
yep,
it's. I think we're in the minority this time. So, Birnam, you're on my side. How was your week, sir?
My week was fine. I managed to get an audition in last week for After All. big long drought of not doing any auditions, it was mostly just to do something.
Yeah.
It looked like an interesting project. It was a indie video game project. I did my usual sort of boisterous upper class English voice for a role. So that's riding a bike for me. So
Cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Was that a casting call club, a Twitter? Where'd you get this one?
It was a casting call club. It was one that we were talking about not last week before with forgotten his name, but be with names.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Not a problem. Well, good. Welcome. Thank you so much again for filling in. Eldurrino is currently out and about. I saw a picture with him seeing actually Pashley, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I told her not to pick up strays, but yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna go on my side before I check in on the other side of the world. So for me, it's been mostly super busy. My TikTok is doing really well. Dorino's in chat, by the way. I currently hear from him. Welcome, Dorino. TikTok's doing really well. I just crossed 2,000 followers with the Killer Case Files series. Yeah. I've been experimenting.
So you just did one with Eldurrino as well.
Yeah. This morning's we just released The Spirit, which Eldurrino did the Russian accent for me. Thank you so much, Eldurrino. Otherwise, I've got all my I had some technical issues. I haven't been able to put anything up from voices.com. I will say I got paid for one of my big jobs from voices.com, which was really nice.
Hey.
Most of that money went right into a video card, which is one of the issues that I was having with my computer, which are super stupidly expensive right now, but that's a whole other topic for another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, work is okay. We're getting some stuff done around the house. So like this morning, for example, one of the reasons I didn't get it done is we're working on the backyard. We're going to get an inspector in to measure all the property. So we got to make sure that everything was done. We took down an old balcony that we had back there that was falling apart. Because if an inspector sees something like this, he's going to have an issue, and I don't want to be fined. But yeah, otherwise, I put together the Killer Case Files this morning, and then here we are. And so we're all good to go. Yay! Look forward to doing, because I got to do some work for Rob VA, which is the Star Wars, the Luke lines for Star Wars, for one of the bigger ones. So I'm waiting for that to come out. And then Escape the Algorithm came out a couple of weeks ago, which was also a ton of fun to do, which was another voices.com job. So hey, things are looking up. Things are moving on. It's really weird. So we'll see what happens. Now to check in with the majority of people that are on the other side of the world. Let's start with Renara. Renara, how are you?
That's probably a good way to put it. I'm currently ill, but I'm here. I'm coming off of a migraine, which started Thursday and hasn't really shifted. I'm not well, but I've managed to keep myself busy in the meantime. I have completed my Dunma stuff for Skywind. Yay! That is sorted. is all I can say to that. I have ordered a new microphone. I don't know if I said that last week, but I have ordered a new microphone, and it should be with me next Wednesday. I think it actually looks a bit like Neil's. I'm not sure if it is the same one, but it might be. So that will come. Chapter 3 of the audiobook that I'm doing is in the Foley stage, and that the reason why it hasn't really gone any further in the Foley stage is because I've been ill, and this whole thing has taken me out for this entire week. So I was like, right, I have to rest so I can be here for Cold Read, and I'm now here. And yes,
thank you for that.
Breathe.
Yeah.
And breathe. If I cough a few times, that's why. Don't worry.
But like you said, not COVID.
Not COVID. I have done millions of tests, double check, make sure it's not COVID. We're good.
Gotcha. I hate getting those things done from doctors. I can only imagine having to do it to myself.
Oh, well, we've got a new one that's basically rather than up the nose and down the throat, it's just up the nose. So it's like it's not that bad, but I do have to feel like I'm screwing my brain out every time I do it. So, but I'm so used to it now. I've done over about 3,000 tests in the space of this entire lockdown. So I'm a pro at this now.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for braving. Eldurrino says, nice job, Ren.
Thank you, Dorino.
Eli says when you fly from Mexico into U.S., they do the up the nose test. Oh,
It's not fun. It's not fun.
Grimm, how are you? Welcome in. Thank you so much for filling in for our fourth host.
No worries at all. I'm in high spirits, but my body feels like it's falling apart because I've recently managed to get employed in a warehouse. So I'm doing, 10-hour shifts, lifting, in a day, probably well over several tons of stuff, shifting it off of trucks onto conveyor belts and vice versa. So at the moment, I've been very busy with that, and it's a lot of hard work, but it's good to, after lockdown and being unemployed, it's good to actually have a proper source of income, get back out into the job space, as it were.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Any word on theater stuff? I know you're more of a theater actor. You're more comfortable there.
There is the local theatre, which I think their auditions have just opened, I believe. So I'm looking to get into that because we actually went to see like this spoof of a murder mystery.
As you like. Sorry.
As you like. It was a lot of fun. So hopefully I will be joining that troupe for their next theatre.
Very cool.
And not Warhammer-ish. I know you haven't talked about that.
I managed to find a website of a group of individuals that do voice acting specifically for Warhammer projects. Unfortunately, they are not yet looking for auditions because I think they've recently got everyone they needed. So I'll have to wait until they're looking for new people.
Right. Well,
if there's a Sister of Battle one, tell me.
Well, glad that you're here. Glad that that's starting to work out for you. Good luck to you. Hope you break a leg when you get into that audition.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's talk to our guest. So Neil from Crownstag Voice Over. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. So for those of you that have been here, have watched this before, we watched one of Crownstag's video in regards to how to promote yourself online, which is a great video. Thanks again for allowing us to watch it on the show. That was great. It was a lot of information. It's like, oh my God, I have this guy on, and here we are.
I have so many notes.
Okay, good. I watched the episode as well, and I thought, that's not what I meant. Oh, great. Okay. Right. It was interesting to see what you guys took away from that. And a lot of it was fantastic and exactly what I was looking for. And other things I thought, do you know what? I probably could have said that better or in a different way. But a lot of what I do, it's a brain dump. It's just trying to get that stuff out. So I'm glad you found it useful.
No, we totally did. And I totally understand when you mean brain dump, because that's pretty much the show here too. So you're in good company when it comes to that stuff. So let's talk, Neil. How did you get into voice acting? What prompted you to go in this direction?
This is a really silly story. So I went to theatre school and got my degree in musical theatre. And just as I graduated, global recession. So just nothing was happening. Yeah. So I got into. I was selling magazine advertising for wedding companies and IT equipment, just anything to make some money at that time because recession. And on a very drunken night, I had gone onto Amazon and I'd ordered a mic and a pop filter and a couple of things because people had said, you have a good voice. And as we all know, having a good voice is absolutely meaningless.
Yeah.
So and I had immediately forgotten about it. So, as my wife and I say, it's Amazonesia. You order someone, you go, the box turns up, and you go, what the hell did I order? 2 weeks later, this mic arrives, and then my very silly brain goes, okay, let's do this. And I started trying to find out how to, record, and I started recording in a very ill-treated room, and it, of course, sounded terrible. And then I started just making contact with everyone I could possibly think of in the industry. And having worked in the theatre school and done some big performances, I had connections into the BBC, but I knew some guy's friend's cleaner's cousin. It was that very tenuous connection to get into that. So I started just cold calling as many people as I could, and the reality is, I probably burned a lot of bridges at that point, because it was just, anyone tell me anything. Okay, that's a thing. Great, I'll now go and do that thing, without validating how good that advice possibly was.
Ooh, okay.
And I was always told, oh, do some free work. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I still do free work now. But it was all that training stuff. Theatre school is great to help you understand how to emote and act, but it tells you nothing about microphone setup, microphone technique, mouth noise, all that thing that we in the voiceover industry are very acutely aware of. I can listen to a voiceover on an advert now and go, oh, I'm sure I can hear some clicks there. They didn't clean that up quite well. Right. I get really obsessive about it. But yeah, that's kind of how I started. Largely self-taught, and then when I started earning money, I started investing in my training a lot more, and went to some really good coaches, some really terrible coaches as well, trying to find the right one, and some were a bit predatory in their behaviors. They'd seen a thing, so that's the thing they were going to teach, rather than what I need to learn. And got to the point where I make a decent living doing this, and I'm a happy man doing voiceover.
Wow.
I don't think we've had a more Scottish origin story for getting into this than when I was and drunkenly ordered a mic on Amazon.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a good mic at that point, but yeah, I just... you know what it's like when you go... when you're that drunk at 2:00 in the morning and everything's a good idea.
Everything seems like a good idea.
After all the pubs close.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure I ordered it with one bleary, bloodshot eye, trying to focus on my my phone at the time. So yeah.
So what was the first mic that you got, out of curiosity?
Oh God, I'm trying to remember now.
Do you even remember it?
No, it was
You were
bigger.
that drunk.
No. I'd used it for about 6 months, and it was one of those noises. So it was a USB one, and I didn't understand that at that point everything that made it work was inside the mic. So I had this constant buzz in the microphone, and I just thought that's what I was hearing on my headphones. That's fine. So I'm doing audition after audition, not getting anything. But then I'm also sending out samples to people and getting not the best responses. And I'm like, well, I'm doing all the things right. I've read all the things. I've done exactly what XYZ's told me. Why isn't this working? And not figuring out, it's just this little thing that if you've got, and not all USB mics for anyone who uses one, it has this problem, but a lot of very cheap ones do have all the internal workings within the microphone, and that creates an electromagnetic sound from Sound and Sciencey there. All that electricity makes a noise, and it's inaudible to your ears. And actually, it wasn't inaudible to my ears, because when I put my ear to the microphone, I heard was. I have seen the problem or heard the problem. But yeah, just in case you're aware of that, you have to be aware that some USB mics create sound. And you can eliminate that, and I figured out ways to eliminate that using the DAWs I was using at the time. But I don't ever recommend anyone do that now, because anytime you remove frequency, you're removing frequency from your voice as well, and that can really affect the richness sometimes. It depends on the frequency of your voice, but for me, it really made a negative impact.
Everything you have just said has been my life for the past 2 months. I'm not even joking. Because okay, slight story time. These guys know a little bit about it. I recently reached out to someone to like help with my demo reel because I was like, okay, I need to get a demo reel done. Okay, like it's been too long now. I've been doing this for years now. I need a demo reel. Come on. So I reached out to someone. I did a test audio and they went, there's this really loud hiss in the background. I don't know what it is. And I'm just there going, well, it can't be around me. And then after like doing several things, I've realized it's my USB microphone that I currently have right now. That's over 10 years old. So everything you have just said is just like, I feel very called out right now.
But don't ever feel bad about that. And anyone, like, honestly, if you're having that problem, don't feel bad about it because you don't know what you don't know, but also you can only work with what you have. Right. So are you going to land a job with Marvel using that? No. Can you do, Dave's taxi advert? Yeah, absolutely. And you're still going to make money. So, you can still earn a living using those microphones. And as you make more money, invest in yourself. It's a difficult thing to do because you're like, I'm skint. Oh, look, money. Damn it, I can't spend it because I need it to make more money. It's painful, but the more you invest in yourself, I promise you, the better it'll get. And the quicker you do that, the quicker you're going to have disposable income.
Well, I've bought a new microphone, so I'm going that way. So I'm keeping this one. But I was wondering because this one is a what was it? Something Samsung or Sony C0U or C01U. So I was wondering if it might be if that was your microphone.
No, I want to say it was a toner something.
Oh wow. Okay.
But yeah, it was. It was a POS.
Well, let me ask you,
but yeah, POS.
Was it a package deal in Amazon?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I had to buy.
So it was a little better than the package deal.
This was about 10 plus years ago at this point. So I remember it came in a box, and when you opened it, I'm like, the box it came in, like the third box out, was nicer than the box it was packaged in.
Oh dear.
And the instructions were. I think English was on page 17 of a booklet that was about 2 inches tall. It was one of those ones. You know what I mean? It was. This is the cheapest thing possible. Because bear in mind, it was the recession. I was not throwing hundreds of quid. It was like, I think this was about £30. Refurbished. It was just. It was whatever I bought was absolute pants. The mic, the pop filter I used for years because that was actually quite good. But yeah, the microphone was utter dog poop.
So, okay, here's a question, and this is probably stretch from memory. What can you remember? What the first thing you landed was, and like how you got like how did it lead up to getting the first thing you got cast in?
So it was a medical e-learning thing that I did, and and this is why I sort of invest so heavily in LinkedIn because it came from LinkedIn. So I'd been talking to another voice actress that was on there, and she was basically overworked. And she said, "Look, I've got this bit. Could you pick it up?" And I think she said it was £300 per module. So I think the modules were broken down into 4 segments. So you're probably talking I think each segment was maybe between 1,000 and 2,000 words, something like that. But it was deeply medically focused. So it was the anatomy of the skin and things along those lines. So it wasn't the easiest thing to record.
No.
Yeah, I think she ended up using me 3 or 4 times. So I made about £1,200 off of that relationship. And
through a
we
university or the NHS?
No. I think this was more for. It was talking a lot about what's the word? Like beauty therapy. So how they dye on the hair and all that sort of stuff, but it was really in depth. So I think it was about if you got a qualification using
like college courses or something.
Yeah, that sort of e-learning. And of course, this was just when e-learning was really picking up. It was a fairly new thing at that point. So yeah, she was far more established than I am, and we've kept in contact ever since. I've thrown probably more work her way than she's thrown mine, but it's a relationship that you know, it's been beneficial for both of us. And it was literally, she said to me, "Oh, you could do this thing." I was like, "Yeah." If she'd offered me 50 quid, I would have taken it. But she was fair, and I really appreciated that. And she said, "Look, you know, I'll pay you this much per module, and you know, take it or leave it." Basically, I was like, "I will take that. Thank you very much."
No argument.
No, as far as she knew, I was like, "Oh well, I'll settle for this. You're a tough negotiator." But on my side, I'm going, money. Yes.
So
Yeah.
Done.
have you found that with everything recently, have you found like work to increase then? If that's the way you started, you seemed like, it seems like that might be the niche that I like. This is me assuming, I'm sorry. But like, have
No,
you
it's
found
fine.
much more, has it picked up sort of thing?
So over sort of Coronageddon, everything kind of fell on its backside as well.
Yeah.
But I had enough there that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't booking holidays or anything like that, but I had enough to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But what I found myself doing was actually diversifying more internationally. So I started doing buttloads of work in like India, Australia, even in the States as well. Because a lot of the work in the UK kind of, you know, it did really dry up. So I managed to stay afloat. I certainly picked up loads and loads of new clients, but for every one new client I picked up, I probably lost 5 that went out of business.
Wow.
So it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a fun year and a half, and things are now starting to pick up a lot more, and I'm nearly back to where I was in terms of workload. But over just before COVID, probably about a year before COVID hit, and certainly over COVID, I started doing a lot of YouTube work, and that really provided me a really steady income over all the lockdowns. I mean, we had 3 lockdowns in the UK.
Yeah.
Everyone working from home. I had daily work coming through YouTube, and you know, I always say to people, you know, that people scream out for voice actors and voiceovers for YouTube channels, and there's so much variety on there. It gives you such an access to be a character on each of those channels. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. There are some channels I'm like, oh God, I'm never touching that thing again. But some channels that I do, I mean, I do work for anime channels, which is weirdly really got me into anime. You know, I do for psychology channels. For I've got a Tesla channel I work for. I've got some gadget channels, some travel channels, and they're not, you know, industry standards, air quote industry standards costs. But you know, 8 minutes of video, you know, if you start off at, you know, some of them start off at like $10 to $20 because most of the stuff is in dollars. You know, I now make, with quite a lot of the ones that I've been working with a long time, well over $70 per video because the channel is massive, and I am the voice of that channel. You know, when each video gets 50,000 views in its first week, you know, that makes them money. And, you know, they're listening for the content, but, you know, I am now the familiar voice of those channels. So I definitely recommend people get into that.
That's a very good point. So you'd recommend like kind of shotgunning it, just applying, you know, doing as much of that work as you can for as many different things. And eventually you'll become the established voice of at least one of them. And the more successful that is, the more indispensable you become.
I'd say you have to make sure that's part of your negotiation when you start. You know, because some people are lovely and they will say, look, the more money we make, the more money we'll pay. But others aren't like that. So regardless of who I'm working with, I always say, look, 3 months is a check-in. So after 3 months, I want to make sure, A, you're happy with what I'm providing, and B, with a view to increase my rates, because ultimately you need to make sure that the channel is making money. So with YouTube, a channel doesn't make money unless it's got 1,000 subscribers plus 4,000 hours of watch time. So if their videos are, say, 5 minutes a piece, you know, that's a hell of a lot of videos to get to 4,000 hours. And that's when they start making money. And this is not a lot of money. So when they say they get to 50,000 subscribers, each video has 100,000 views in a week, something like that, then that channel is probably making 2 or 3 grand. off that a month.
Yeah.
So then, as a share, me saying, okay, if I'm doing one video a month, okay, pay me $70. It's not a massive amount out of your $3,000. But for us, I suppose in the UK, you have to factor in exchange rates.
Yes.
Yeah.
$70 probably works out to be 55, 56 pounds,
About
something like that.
Yeah.
But again, I will do 5 minutes of work for £50.
That's pretty good.
Well.
I'm about that.
So, Neil, if you don't mind me asking, for the most part, how did you get in contact with these YouTubers? Where did you go to find them?
A lot of that's through Upwork these days. It used to be, again, you're going out to the various freelance sites, but I get loads of work over COVID through Upwork, and I preferred using Upwork than Fiverr, because Fiverr is quite a flooded marketplace, and you have to try and find that job. I tried freelancer.com, but I found it really there were a lot of fake profiles on there and a lot of quite predatory people on there as well, so I didn't particularly get on with it. But yeah, I thought Upwork was quite good. You pay about $12 for 80 connects, and you write your proposal, you attach your samples, and I probably land 2 out of every 10 jobs that I apply for on that. And not saying that that's average, but I've been doing this a while, and I have some fairly good samples that I can send people.
So how long have you been doing this for?
A little over 10 years now.
Okay.
So you've put in your time. You've definitely put in the legwork to all of this.
Yeah. much to my wife's chagrin. And it kind of reset over COVID as well. So because all my clients were dropping like flies, basically, I was doing 12, 14-hour days. I kind of drove myself to misery, because it was, if I'm not in the booth, if I'm not applying for different jobs, if I'm not trying to contact new agents or whoever, if I'm not doing the legwork, well, it's like someone just reached into my bank account and took all the money, basically. So that was a real stressor for me. And yeah, I had to get back into it. But when you're first starting out, I don't have kids, so that's a time that I air quotes have back, that I'm not doing all that stuff. So I realize that people have kids and lives, and they can't do those 14-hour days. You don't have to. It's just the way my very stupid brain works.
You're not stupid. Stop it. No negativity on this podcast.
Okay, it's the way that my obsessive brain works. I have a completionist brain, so
slightly better, but okay.
Assassin's Creed, find all the feathers. Really drove me insane.
There we go. Okay.
Anyone understands that reference?
The reward. Nope, I'm doing it anyway.
Yep. Completely get that.
So it was that. That's my completionist brain. So if there's something yet to do, I've got to do it. Otherwise, in my head, I'm up at 6 a.m. and it's still a task for me to do. So yeah, I'd say for anyone, as long as you can do the legwork, not all the legwork, as long as you can do something a day, whether that's you send out a mail shot or a demo or you phone, as long as you've done something that progresses your career forward, more you know something more today than you know yesterday, then great, take that as a win. And that's the mindset I kind of had to get myself back in. So, as I say, I've got a very supportive wife, but occasionally she is just like, shut up, shut up, sit down and watch the telly. Go on.
Okay. So, because I'm. Let's start that again. Jesus. So when did it transition from I have a 5? Did you because quite a lot of us will have a 9 to 5 and then we'll be doing this in every spare moment that we can. When did you transition from that sort of thing to I'm doing this full time? When was that period of transition? Like, what happened? How did you know? Like, how? So, yeah.
So officially, I transitioned about 4 years ago.
Wow.
But I didn't stop doing what I was doing before. So I do a lot of work in talent development for the neurodiverse community. So I work with quite large organizations building training and recruitment programs, for that community, and I'm really passionate about it. So I didn't really want to give it up. So I have a consultancy that I go around anyway. So I still kind of do that. But the transition into the voice work, knowing that I could pay my bills in voice work, let me frame it in that context.
Yeah.
I set up a separate bank account, and I ran that bank account for 2 years. So I wanted to see what I made year one from doing that. And to be honest, this is something I kind of did year one of my voiceover.
Okay.
How much money am I actually making doing this? And my first ever year in voiceover, I made about £12,000.
Sorry, that was gut reaction. Okay.
Okay, but what I mean, that was not a lot of money. Like, I couldn't live on my own with that sort of money. So I ran that for my first year, and then it was looking at year two. Did I make the same, less, or more? And I always say to like even the students I work with, whatever you're living on now, make sure that you're making 1.5 times that on voiceover. Not in your first year, not in your second year. Wait until you get to your third year, because then you know a consistent income.
Yeah.
And when you've got to that point, and you know that all your bills are covered, you are having a bit of a better lifestyle, but it's not you had a bumper year. Because what a lot of people get is, they'll do the £300 job, the £300 job, the £50 job, and then they might get this massive £8,000 job and go, I've made it. No, that is you had a really good job. Bank it. That's a lovely thing, but don't bet on that. And I always say to people, only judge it by the money that you make consistently from regular clients, because that's the biggest thing that people really struggle with, and that I really struggled with as well, is repeat clients. I'd get loads of one-offs, and I'd go back to them going, hey, remember me? Do you want to do anything? Like, no, that was done. We've moved on. Keep in contact. And every time you do, they're like, no. We'll phone you. So you need to keep doing that. And COVID really reminded me of all those very first days of getting into this. Because, as I say, all the clients dropped like flies. So I had to do so much more business development than I have done probably in the last the 5 years before COVID hit.
Well, I think all of us here we've all been really strong proponents, because we all do this on our spare time. We've always said, make sure you pay the bills before you even get into thinking about it. As long as you can pay your bills, then go for it. Otherwise, wait for it. You're going to have to wait. Yeah. Don't be the starving artist if you don't have to be.
No.
Yeah.
And also,
definitely
don't niche yourself down. From the one of the comments you made on the video that the marketing video, you I suppose largely rightly assumed that I do a lot of like marketing, advertising, that sort of stuff, which is true. That's probably the bulk of what comes through. But I also do, a buttload of video games, animation. I diversify as much as I possibly can. If I can put my voice to it, sign me up. And a lot of people do go, oh no, I only do this. Well, great. If you're making a living, do that, and more power to you. But if you're just starting out and you've got this dream and aspiration to only do video games or only do anime, because a lot of people get into that because that's their passion, that's what they love. I did a national advert just about 2 or 3 weeks ago for First Bus, and if in Scotland, First Bus is one of the big sort of bus companies, and I did a voice where I was in Glasgow, putting on a very Glaswegian accent, talking about going out and getting drunk with my pals. It was the biggest stereotype ever. And I was like, I was a bit unsure about it. I was like, do I really want to do this? And then, they offered me some money. I was like, sure, yeah. How drunk do you want me to sound?
How weak do you want?
How much method acting do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm going down to the shops, man.
Easy, it's fine. But it was very over the top, and you find that. I mean, I do work for various other, Scotland-based podcasts, and even then, they want me to really Scottish up, I suppose. What I'm doing.
Come up the stereotype.
Yeah, proper stuff. I've lived in England over 20 years now, so my accent is very soft comparatively to when I moved to England. No one could understand a word I said when I came here. I was met with a nod and smile for a very long time. But that has also helped me quite a lot, because that has now given me the cadence and the way that I speak now, which is far more internationally adoptable, really.
It's more marketable.
Yeah. And again, it's knowing your market. So I know that if I've got an audition that comes through for Tesla in Singapore, I am never going to land that ad, because the marketplace is not familiar with my voice. They just don't have enough exposure to the intonations that come with my accent. They'll listen to RP Southeast English accents, your air quotes generic American accent. They're familiar with that because they see that and they hear it in movies and books. But if a guy from Newcastle or Manchester or Dublin or something played over there, they're just not tuned in to listen to it. So I'll never ever get cast. And I don't say that because I've never been cast. I've been told by multiple casting agents, "Love your voice, not a chance." Okay, fine.
I appreciate the honesty.
As a Scot living in the US, I get enough of that just day to day. Just saying the word "farty" is is enough to confuse people.
So Neil, let's talk about your YouTube. So when did you decide to start doing the YouTube videos?
COVID. Yeah, it was really over COVID. Because I got to a point where I'm thinking, okay, I need to try something new. What are other people doing? What can I do? Because there are so many people that I have in my network that just basically went, I can't keep doing this because I can't make money, and stop doing it. And some were very successful, and others really had to walk away. So I started looking on YouTube to try and figure out, well, what is the marketplace out there? And I saw a lot of people doing their own auditions and their own demos on YouTube. And it's fine to have that there, but it wasn't driving a massive amount of traffic. And then it was the advice channels that I would saw, and I thought, okay, well, that's good. Let's have a look at the advice channels. And while a lot of them are good, and I'm absolutely not disparaging any of these, but it would be this amazing thing you need to know. Stay tuned to the end to hear out that, and it'd be 20 minutes of waffle and one sentence that is mildly useful. And I found it kind of humorous, but it also really bugged me. So I thought, okay, all right, well, there doesn't seem to be a niche for this. And I'd had students up until COVID, and then they couldn't afford it, so it's fine. I was like, okay, well, do you know what? I've got no skin in the game. I'll make this channel, and if you look at my early videos, they're absolutely terrible. But I had no idea what I was doing. I would just put the stuff out. But I just thought to myself, okay, if I was starting out, this is what I would tell myself. And if I had a brand new student who was day one just starting, so I tried to aim the whole channel at people who are new to the industry, trying to find that little bit of information, because it's so obtuse trying to find that information. There's article after article after article, which are opinion pieces with tiny snippets of usable information. And if you are self-taught, trying to figure out, mouth distance, how to negate mouth noise, use your DAW, which DAW to use, how do you, market yourself, find the right websites, what my pay. There's so much stuff. And I just thought, okay, here's my take on it. Win, lose, or draw, this is my opinion. And if people gel with it, great. And if they've got comments, questions, happy to answer them. I've had one person, I don't know who they are, but I'd love to just take them for a pint. Because it doesn't matter what the video is. I get one thumb down. Every video. Just one thumb down. I want to find this
no.
It's
person.
got to be that
And
person.
I want to tell them
Yep.
they're a legend. I want to give them a T-shirt with a big thumb down sign. I just want to be like,
That's
Who
how
hurt
you
you?
know that you've reached an audience, because as soon, like literally, if you don't have any thumbs down on a video, it means like, okay, you've done. But when you've got that one person who does that, that means, right, okay, I've hit what I need to. People are seeing this. This is good now. Okay.
I've had them where the videos have been up for about 45 seconds.
And
Thumbed
then,
it, and
yeah.
I'm like, so they're
watched it.
definitely subscribed.
They definitely know
So I don't know
when it comes out.
who have
Right.
offended, but they hate me, and I love it.
I've reached a level where even people who don't like me are following me.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I have a bit of a question of, we all have small horror stories of experiences where things have either just not gone right, or we've had weird interactions with people. Do you have any slight horror stories of anything that kind of just didn't go right in a project, or but advice on, I learned not to do this / I like this is a learning experience. Have you got any of those?
Yeah. How long is this episode?
You got 15 minutes, so
Right. I'll, very quick. Okay. So I've had it where a client will come to you that I don't know, and freelancer.com was really bad for this. Could you read this as an audition for my client? And it's maybe a 10-second, 20-second thing, but they want the whole thing perfectly. So I normally either watermark it, or I'll purposefully make a word wrong, and they'll come back to me and say, "Oh no, could you do?" No, this is my safety net. But when I was first starting out, I didn't know about safety nets, so I probably did about 2 or 3 jobs with no that could have been used that I didn't get paid for, and that's a bad thing to get in the habit of. So if anyone ever asks anyone who's listening to do an audition, either watermark it with just, you could do like a little click, whatever it is, make it unusable, or don't say all the words correctly. Instead of shining, say shinning, something like that. Just make sure it doesn't work. But they
just
still
slightly off.
Just slightly off, yeah, because you still want to give your best performance, because that's how you're going to land the gig. One of the other things that I've had is, not getting paid. So you have everything signed up. You've agreed what you're going to get, what you're going to charge, and pay timelines and all that sort of stuff. But some people will send you a contract, depending on how big they are. Other people, it's just it's as they say over here, a fag packet agreement. It's they've just written something on an email, and you say, yeah, I agree to that, and then you send everything off, and you don't get paid. So that can happen, and again, it's about making sure that you provide a file that's not quite right, so that when they pay you, you send the full file. That, again, a little bit of a safety net.
I never thought about doing that, to be quite honest. That never really crossed my mind to do that.
I sometimes just cut off the last 3 seconds.
Right.
So they've got everything.
Fair.
But it's the last 3 seconds, and it's a little thing, and just go, yep, that's fine. But let them know that you're going to do that. Don't surprise them and come across as, because again, you want to build relationships, so don't come across as combative, but just let them know that I'll provide this. As soon as money clears or deposit clears or whatever that is, I will send the rest. If you're working with the BBC, don't worry about it. If you're working with, John the Builder, then maybe you just give yourself a little bit of a safety net.
Right.
And I suppose the last, it was so weird. So I sent out some marketing, and I sent it to someone. I think they worked for Pixar. And the response I got, I was like, do you need a hug? The vitriol.
You get people like that, yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, the bio
that
that came back on this, and I do struggle sometimes not taking things personally, not because I'm like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. And don't get me wrong, people have come back to me and said, I don't like this approach, I don't like that, and I'm like, do you know what? They've actually got a genuine point. I will change how I do things. But this particular person came back and was like, oh, how dare you do this? I have a good mind to tell everyone I know in animation never to work with you. And I was like,
wow.
Yeah, honestly, it was so bad. I genuinely, I was angry, But the
By all
combative element
rights.
in my head was like, I want to phone them up and just be like,
Are you
hello.
okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, just give them some chocolates or something. I'm like, are you all right? Because it
That little
was
desk
so
lamp is
angry.
mean.
But,
Yeah, no.
Well, you saw what it did to the ball.
I've had stuff like that from other voice actors as well. So, like I say, one of my first gigs was working with another voice actor, and I send a load of work to voice actors as well because I get sight of stuff now, being this long in, that I can't do. I can't be a Nigerian woman. So I know someone. I don't
Okay, I'll
really
do
ask
it.
for a referral or anything, but I pass that stuff on. But so I will occasionally reach out to other VOs and other voice actors, just to say, look, this is what I do. Maybe we could collaborate. A nice email, and they act like I've just punched a nan. And they are. How dare you? Why would I work with you? Why would I give you work? Why would I? It's just like, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If I can do this, why wouldn't something like that come up? But there's a big protectionist mentality out there, and I don't try to combat it. I don't make sure that people do stuff, but I try to teach the people at least that work with me, and at least on the channel, I'm always encouraging people. Look, if you've got something that you want to work on, put it out into the world because you never know what's going to come of that. And Casting Call Club's a great one for that. I mean, they occasionally have paid work on there, but that's largely a community group. Well, there's a whole platform there of people doing that. So it must work.
Yeah.
Those are my horror stories.
We've been really big proponents for Casting Call Club. It's a great place to start. It's a great place to build relationships.
Yeah,
we're big on that. Because I met Renara through a couple projects that I did in Casting Call Club, and most of the other people that I've met have been through Twitch, and this is how this community started coming together. You're just reinforcing the points that we've been saying, that for sure. Make sure that you build a network and that you can reach out, and so that's great.
Can I ask you a question then?
Of
so
course.
I'm not on Twitch. I am outside of YouTube, which I'm only just getting my head around. I'm a novice when it comes to social media, and everyone says get on social media and do the bits. Have you garnered paid work, decent paid work, right, if nothing else, through Twitch, Twitter, or any of the other social media platforms? Because I'm really interested to know that, because it's not how I get my work.
Gotcha. I'll let Renara go first because I saw that finger go up.
Sorry. No, I have learned that the community on Twitter is so supportive, and there will always be a casting call. Like just paid work on there. Like I check it daily, and there's always some casting call, but you do need to follow quite a lot of people. But there are so many people on there. A lot of people get their commission work through Twitter as well nowadays as well. So for demo reels, sound editing, any bits and pieces that other people might not be able to do, artwork, even things like this that you don't think about. At least I've been on YouTube for a while now, so I've only just started like looking into these sorts of things, and I've just realized, oh my god, Twitter is huge. The community is huge, and it's so welcoming and lovely and supportive. So I would 100% look at Twitter, set up a Twitter, follow as many people as you can, musicians, other VAs. You can create lists, and it's such a good way to just network, in my opinion, which is why I was like shocked when you said LinkedIn, because I was like, I have been to school and they kept telling me to use LinkedIn for so long, and I was like, but I found much more cohesion with Twitter. But I guess that might be just from how I've come into this. So I can say Twitter.
Possibly. I mean,
for sure.
for me, I've been building my LinkedIn stuff for, as long as LinkedIn's been around. I've probably got about 16,000 plus people on there. But
that works.
Yeah, and it works. Yeah. And for me, I can go directly to casting directors for big organizations, because I can see who they are. I can go straight to head of productions for various organizations. And I suppose that's where I need to educate myself a little bit more and give myself the time to get into Twitter, because I've been aware of Twitter for many, many years, and I have got a Twitter account for Crownstag, and I think I've maybe got about 300 people that follow me. I barely post anything because I don't know how to engage with it. I'm like, my mind just doesn't, because I've had no exposure to it. I don't know how to do the do. Whereas
Right.
LinkedIn just it feels like a warm blanket because I've been doing it for so long.
Because you're
for
used
business
to
that
it,
I'm
it's
like,
familiar.
Oh, yeah, I'm a ninja, an absolute ninja on LinkedIn.
I think
I will. Oh, sorry. I was just going to sum it up. It is more of a case of you going out to talk to people rather than you making posts yourself. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. And
pretty
it's
much
more.
what I was about to say.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, sorry, I'm
Great
agreeing with you.
minds.
It's so with this with TikTok as well, there's a bit of a, if you go looking for these communities and engage with the communities, it's all measured on engagement rather than kind of production of your own work. So if you just go if you go looking for people on Twitter or on TikTok or a bunch of other things probably, and just find the people who are doing parts of the community that you want to engage in, and just reply to their stuff, comment on their stuff, and then make your own content off of other people's content. That's you engaging the community. The algorithms that are involved in that will try to bring you into that community. So I think again, a very little amount of legwork can then boost up that follower count, and then from that you can start getting possibly more work and stuff like that.
So like the mark on YouTube is 1,000 subscriptions, 4,000 hours. The mark on TikTok is 10,000 followers, 100,000 views a month, and then you can jump into what's called the creator program. So for Leo, let me give you right now. Tips are huge on TikTok. So if you could sum up your tips that you do on your YouTube to a 30-second clip, post it, and use hashtags that other tip people are doing it, you would do great.
That's
Agreed.
something to look at. Yeah, definitely. It was only suggested to me yesterday that I should absolutely be on TikTok, and I looked at TikTok about 6 months ago. Lockdown 3. I thought, let me see what this TikTok thing is. And 5 hours went by, and I'm like, what have I done? What I looked at, I was like, no, my brain can't handle this.
Right.
Jeez. So yeah, I'll certainly have a look at that, because as I said at the top of the hour, it's diversifying, and you absolutely have to diversify. And I've said this in some of my videos before, where people rail against Fiverr and Upwork and Voices and everything else because it's not how things were done. And that's true. It's not how things were done, but they will never be done that way again.
Right.
And Fiverr was a mercurial shift in the market. Same with Voices, same with all these different platforms. And actually, if you don't shift with it, then you're going to get left behind. So it's why I asked, because Discord is about a week old to me, because again, people suggested to me, I was like, oh, what's a Discord? Okay. And because I get into my own little rabbit hole sometimes, and I do what I'm familiar with, as I say, LinkedIn's a comfy blanket for me. But I really do need to push myself, because I can't go through another COVID where all the clients drop off a cliff, and I have to do that legwork again, because it was super tough, really, really tough.
And I because I'm part of your Discord too, I admire you trying to open dialogue conversations, and it's really, really nice to have somewhere to go and see other voice actors and talk about all the stuff that you're talking about. So it's good. So if you have an opportunity, I'll make sure to put a link to join in there.
Thanks.
It's good to see that you're growing on this particular platform, because it's nice.
Yeah, it's starting to get there. I mean, but that's my whole thing. I never, and on any of my YouTube videos, I never promote myself. Like, I never say, come to me for your voice work, or here's a reel at the end of it. I don't want to do that, because that's, again, what I found with a lot of the other YouTube channels. It was, come to my masterclass, or find out this amazing thing, but only if you follow my 3 steps. I'd never want to say that my way's the only way. This is what my experience has taught me, and this is something that you might relate to. And if you do, great. And if you don't, and you want to change it or ask a question, great. But it's your job, it's your career, and it will develop for you in your way. But I can be a support net for you, and if I don't know the answer, hey, let's find out together.
That's the exact right mindset to have for kind of doing the community engagement stuff.
100%.
You would excel at TikTok, so I would definitely push you in that direction.
Aye. There's
Yes,
a few good voice actors on TikTok I've seen who've, like, in the last couple of months really started, getting their hooks into the community. And, all you need to do is film little videos of yourself in your booth doing little voice acting
or tips
videos.
or even
tips.
challenges.
Yeah,
Challenges are
that's-
huge.
Yes.
I know I've seen a few of the challenges, and that's the bit that sort of made me think that it kind of put me off, because again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just my mind. I don't want anything I do like that to be like, hey, look how amazing I am. I'm not
But that's not it.
a look at me kind of guy. No, and
don't think that's
I'm
it.
not saying that everything that does that, but in my head, and this is pure ignorance because I genuinely don't know. I've seen the TikTok challenge where it's 3 different reads and 3 different styles. Well, that's showing someone's capability, and they're absolutely fantastic. But that's in my head, that's not what I want to put out into the world. I get work, and I am of a point where I can do auditions for Disney and Pixar, and I do those regular enough that I'm comfortable saying it. I'm of a point. I would rather put stuff out, kind of as your suggestion, as the help element, because I think that's far more important. For me, anyway, I feel better putting that out rather than maybe just saying, "Hey, look at the 5 voices that I can do." Man of 2 voices. That just doesn't feel comfortable for me. That's one way of saying that. Sorry.
Just remember that engagement is the biggest thing when it comes to this. So if people duetting your videos just to be on the challenge side, they're not comparing themselves. They're just
it's fun.
interacting with somebody that has much more experience than them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, that works for comments as well.
I say it with ignorance, so maybe I need to educate myself a little bit more around that.
Understood.
Well, something that I know I've been kind of lurking in the corner, occasionally chuckling, is something that I'll mention, having been a drama student for a long time, is one of my biggest issues when I was being taught was I was hearing all this advice, but I never actually got shown why. My teachers never displayed to me their talent. They never showed how well they could act. They just told me how to act. So, as in, something that, I don't know, but potentially you might find is some people will latch onto your tips even more and take stock in some of the things you say if you show, not necessarily go, "Oh, look at me, look at all the amazing things I do," but rather go, there's this thing that I've done for this group and this is how I did it, that kind of thing. Showing almost an end result, a product to the people you're giving advice to, and
Like putting stock
explaining how you got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. No, I agree. I think that's a good point.
Guys, this is a great conversation. Neil, we're gonna have to have you back on at some point. But
Oh,
we are-
100%,
we are
yeah.
definitely out of time. So
Sorry, I monopolized it. But
no, this is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. So
Yeah.
guys, if you have any questions, if you want us to listen to your demo, we can give constructive feedback. ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. If you have a topic that you want us to talk about, somebody that you want us to interview, email us. We'll be more than happy to know. Again, the YouTube will be up in about 24 hours. The podcast will be up anywhere you can find your podcast. Cold Read the Podcast. Thank you again, Neil. Thank you, Grimm. Thank you, Birnam, for guest hosting. Renara, I hope you feel better. Thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah.
Thanks for having
No
me.
problem at all.
We'll see you all next time. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh.
Drink
Burnham, say it again.
Yep. Drink your water.
water.
No, give it to me in Eldurrino.
Drink your water.
There it is. Thank you. Bye.